Have you ever noticed how the weakest person in the room is usually the loudest? We live in a culture that has confused reaction with strength. The masses believe that if someone insults you, you must strike back immediately. They believe that loudness equals dominance, that a quick tongue equals a sharp mind, and that silence is an admission of defeat. They live in a perpetual state of chaos, their emotions hijacked by anyone who decides to push their buttons. Most people play this game. They get disrespected, they feel the spike of cortisol, and they explode. They hand over the keys to their peace of mind to a stranger. And in doing so, they suffer. They suffer loss of dignity, loss of control, and loss of energy. But the Stoic, the rare grounded individual, operates on a completely different frequency. They understand a truth that is invisible to the reactive majority. Reaction is submission. When you react to disrespect, you are telling the other person, you have power over me. You control my emotional state. Today we are going to dismantle the chaotic urge to fight back and instead equip you with the 6 pillars of Stoic composure. We are not talking about being a doormat. We are talking about a precision-engineered psychological defense that turns their disrespect into your leverage. We are moving from the chaotic noise of the many to the unshakable power of the few. This is how you shut down disrespect, not by lowering yourself to their level, but by rising to a height they cannot reach. The average person treats conversation like a ping-pong match. The ball comes over the net, an insult, a snide comment, a rude interruption, and they instinctively swing the paddle to hit it back. It is a reflex. It is unthinking. It is weak. The enemy here is the impulsive ego. It fears that if it doesn't answer immediately, it looks stupid. But the Stoic realizes that the most powerful thing you can do in the face of disrespect is nothing. At least not yet. This is counterintuitive strength. In a world that prizes speed, the ultimate power move is the delay. When you are disrespected, your first move must be to insert a wedge of time between the stimulus and your response. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who understood the deepest forms of human suffering, famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." When you pause, you are signaling to the aggressor that you operate on your own timeline, not theirs. You are anchored. Imagine the dynamic. They throw an insult. They expect a fight. They are ready for the collision. But instead, you look at them. You breathe. You remain silent for 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds. In that silence, their confidence begins to fade. The insult hangs in the air, unsupported, making them look petty and uncontrolled. You are not pausing because you are confused. You are pausing because you are assessing them with the clinical detachment of a surgeon. The emotional logic here is critical. We do not pause to win the argument. We pause because autonomy is the highest form of self-respect. If you react instantly, you are a puppet. If you pause, you are the master. Once you have paused, the chaotic person expects you to defend yourself. They want you to explain, to justify, to whine. Most people defend their ego as if it were a physical fortress under attack. Why would you say that? I'm not like that. They validate the insult by trying to disprove it. The Stoic does the opposite. The Stoic uses the mirror of indifference. This is the art of looking at the disrespect not as an attack on you, but as a confession about them. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome and a man who faced constant betrayal and disrespect, anchored this truth when he said, "The best revenge is not to be like that." When someone is rude, they are vibrating at a low frequency. They are projecting their own insecurities, their fatigue, and their lack of virtue onto you. If you get angry, you align your vibration with theirs. You become them. Instead, you must radiate an unshakable indifference. You look at them not with anger, but with a slight curiosity. You view their disrespect as a natural phenomenon, like a barking dog or a passing storm. You don't get mad at the rain for getting you wet. You just put up an umbrella. By refusing to take offense, you hold up a mirror. They scream, and you remain silent. They insult, and you remain calm. Suddenly, the contrast becomes blindingly obvious to everyone in the room. They look chaotic, you look grounded. They look weak, you look formidable. This isn't passivity, it is a strategic refusal to accept the poison they are offering. Let's go deeper into the psychology of the attacker. The reactive enemy takes everything personally. If someone cuts them off in traffic, they think, that person hates me. The Stoic flips the script using clinical analysis. You must reframe the person disrespecting you. Do not see them as a powerful enemy. See them as a patient who is unwell. When a feverish patient screams at a doctor, the doctor does not scream back. The doctor does not feel disrespected. The doctor thinks, this person is in pain. This is a symptom of their illness. Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, taught us that it is not things that disturb us, but our judgment of them. The disrespect is just noise. It only becomes painful if you judge it to be an injury. If you change the frame from this person is attacking me to this person is suffering from a lack of self-control, you become immune to their words. Next time someone is rude to you, try this. Instead of getting angry, mentally diagnose them. Ask yourself, what must be going on in their life for them to act this way? How fragile must their ego be to need to put me down? When you look at them with pity rather than anger, you automatically assume the high ground. You move from the victim to the observer. You are the scientist, they are the specimen. This shift in perspective renders their insults harmless. It strips the barbs of their venom. Deep benefit. You do this not to be arrogant, but because understanding is the antidote to anger. You cannot hate what you understand, and when you don't hate, you remain free. Now let's look at a tactic that is purely counterintuitive strength. This is for when the disrespect hits close to home, when they criticize a flaw you actually have. The insecure person denies their flaws. They cover them up. And because they hide them, those flaws become buttons that others can push. The Stoic removes the buttons. The Stoic utilizes the weapon of agreement. If someone attacks you, and there is a grain of truth in it, or even if it's absurd, simply agree with them and amplify it. This is a technique often called negative assertion, but in Stoicism, it is a display of ultimate invulnerability. There is a story of a man who ran up to Cato the Younger, a prominent Stoic, and spat in his face. Cato did not rage. He did not draw his sword. He wiped his face and said, I will swear to anyone, sir, that people are wrong to say that you cannot use your mouth. Or consider the approach suggested by Epictetus. He said that if someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Instead say, he obviously does not know my other faults, or he would have mentioned those as well. Think about the power of that. By agreeing or by responding with self-deprecating humor, you disarm them completely. You are saying, your opinion of me is so irrelevant, I can join in on the joke. You rob them of the conflict they crave. It is like trying to punch smoke. They swing with all their might, expecting resistance, and they hit nothing. They stumble. You remain standing, unshakable. This requires a profound lack of ego. It requires you to be so grounded in your own worth that external validation or invalidation means nothing. Sometimes the disrespect is not verbal. It is an energy. It is a mood. It is a direct attempt to hand you a bag of emotional garbage. The reactive enemy accepts every gift they are given. They take the anger, they take the shame, and they carry it around all day, letting it ruin their dinner and their sleep. The Stoic practices the gift refusal. There is a famous story about the Buddha who, while not a Stoic by title, shared the same essence of wisdom. A man approached the Buddha and began to scream at him, hurling insults and curses. The Buddha sat listening, patiently, until the man ran out of breath. The Buddha asked him, if you buy a gift for someone and that person refuses to take it, to whom does the gift belong? The man replied, well, I suppose it would belong to me. The Buddha smiled. Exactly. You have tried to give me your anger and your hate. I do not accept it. So it falls back on you. It remains yours. This is the emotional logic bridge. You must realize that anger is a physical transfer of energy. When you feel that heat rise in your chest after being insulted, that is you accepting the gift. Visualize this the next time it happens. See their words as a physical package they are trying to hand you. You have two choices. You can reach out, grab it, and unwrap it. Or you can keep your hands in your pockets and watch them struggle to hold it themselves. Refusing the gift keeps your spirit pristine. It ensures that your internal state is determined by your own virtue, not by their lack of it. It creates a boundary that radiates authority. It says, "This is where your chaos ends and my order begins." Finally, we arrive at the ultimate removal of value. Sometimes the most classy way to shut down disrespect is to remove your presence entirely, not out of fear, but out of a precise calculation of value. The weak person stays and argues because they need the last word. They invest hours of their life fighting with fools. The Stoic understands the calculus of time. Seneca, in his essay on the shortness of life, reminds us that life is long enough if we know how to use it. But we waste much of it on heedless luxury and no small amount on useless conflict. Every second you spend engaging with a disrespectful person is a second you are stealing from your purpose, your family, and your self-improvement. It is a bad investment. If the disrespect is chronic, if the person is committed to their ignorance, the Stoic simply withdraws. You cut the oxygen to the fire. You do not storm off and slam the door. That is reactive. You do not make a dramatic speech about how you don't need this. That is insecure. You simply disengage. You check your watch. You realize you have better places to be. You give them a nod, perhaps a polite "I wish you the best," and you walk away. This is the exit of dignity. It communicates that your time is an asset too expensive for them to purchase. By leaving, you leave them with the consequences of their own behavior. You leave them in the silence where the echo of their own disrespect is the only thing they can hear. The world is full of noise. It is full of people who are hurting, confused, and desperate to drag you down into the mud with them. Most people will always choose the mud. They will fight, they will scream, and they will suffer. But you are not most people. You are building something different. You are building an unshakable character. Remember the pillars, the pause that asserts your sovereignty, the mirror that reflects their chaos, the clinical analysis that turns anger into pity, the agreement that disarms the attack, the refusal of the emotional gift, the exit that preserves your time. When you apply these, you do not just shut down disrespect. You transcend it. You stop being a leaf blown around by the wind, and you become the mountain, weathering the storm, silent, enduring, and eternally powerful. This is not just about social skills. This is about the essence of who you are. Master your response and you master your life. If you found value in this silence, leave a comment below with the word "unshakable" to signal that you are done reacting to the noise. Like and subscribe for more insights into the architecture of power. Stand tall.